Okay, so when you hear the word freestyle in hip-hop, what's the first thing that comes to mind? Probably an MC, a mic, a beat, and just pure genius flowing right off the top of their head. But is that the whole story? Today, we're going to unpack the real, surprising history of one of hip-hop's most misunderstood skills, all through the lens of the incredible documentary Freestyle 101 Hip-Hop History.
So, what does it really mean to freestyle? If you're thinking it's all about rapping off the cuff, well, you're not wrong, but you're not entirely right either. The full story is way more complex and honestly a lot more interesting than you might think.
All right, here's our roadmap for this one. We're going to dive into the two different definitions of the term, see how it evolved, take a peek inside the rapper's brain, find out what the modern grind looks like, and finally explore how it's all a metaphor for life itself.
Let's kick things off with what is, frankly, the biggest revelation of all. The one that kind of changes everything. The definition of freestyle we all use today? Yeah, that's not where it started. Not even close.
So check this out. Originally, back in the 80s, a freestyle was a rhyme you had already written down. The whole point was that it was free of style, meaning it wasn't about a specific topic. It was just your best bragging rights verse ready to go. Fast forward to the 90s and today, and it means the exact opposite, something completely improvised on the spot. And hey, don't just take my word for it. When a legend like Big Daddy Kane breaks it down, you listen. For the pioneers, it was all about the content, being free of a subject. It had nothing to do with how you created it.
But here's the crucial thing. That skill of improvising, of making it up as you go, that has always been a part of hip-hop. It just had a different name. The pioneers called it rapping off the dome, or off the top of the head. The art was always there. It was the name that changed.
So, how in the world do we get from A to B? How did a word for something written become the go-to term for something completely spontaneous? Well, that whole story basically tracks the evolution of hip-hop itself.
This timeline really lays it all out. Hip-hop is born in the 70s, goes commercial, and by the 80s, that written freestyle is the standard. But then, the 90s hit, and this is the game changer. The competitive side of hip-hop explodes, and you have these crews, like the legendary Freestyle Fellowship in LA, who are absolute masters of improv. Their influence was so massive, they pretty much rewrote the definition for everybody.
Okay, so we've covered the culture, the history. Now let's get into the biology. What is actually going on inside an MC's brain when they're in that zone, rapping off the dome?
You know, 𝐟𝐸𝐫 from the Wu-Tang Clan puts it perfectly. It's this feeling of just letting the words flow through you. It's almost like you're not even thinking. But behind that feeling, there's some serious science happening. What makes that flow state even possible?
A lot of people compare freestyling to a jazz solo, and it is a spot-on analogy. Both are these incredibly high-level forms of musical improvisation. You have to pull from this deep well of knowledge, rhythm, and creativity, all in real time, to build something totally new right there on the spot.
And this is where it gets really mind-blowing. As the documentary explains, MRI studies on rappers have shown that when they freestyle, the part of the brain responsible for self-censorship, that little voice that tells you, don't say that, it literally just quiets down. It goes offline. This allows the creative and language centers of the brain to link up freely, creating that pure state of flow where lyrics just pour out. Okay, so we've got the history, we've got the science, but let's bring it to today. In the modern music industry, what does it actually mean to be a master freestyler? Can you really build a whole career on this one incredible skill?
Well, the film grounds all of this by following two very different artists who are both masters of the craft. We get to see their real, day-to-day lives and what their careers actually look like.
So you've got Open Mike Eagle, this really thoughtful indie art rapper in LA, who's also a family man. And on the flip side, you have Iron Solomon, a stone-cold killer in the New York battle rap scene. Their stories run side by side and show you the incredible passion and the absolute grind it takes to make a living doing this.
And trust me, it is a grind. For artists like them, being a lyrical genius is just the price of admission. They often have to do everything else themselves. We're talking booking shows, producing records, distributing their own music. They're their own agent, their own manager. It is a nonstop 24/7 hustle just to turn that talent into a career.
And all of this, the history, the science, the hustle, it all leads to this final, really profound takeaway. This is where freestyling stops being just about music and becomes a powerful metaphor for something way bigger.
Rapper 𝐟𝐸𝐺 drops this absolute gem in the film. It's such a simple line, but man, it is packed with so much meaning. What does it really mean to say that life is like a freestyle?
Well, think about it. The essence of freestyling is all about adapting. It's about reacting to the beat, to your opponent, to the world around you, and making these instant creative choices to just make it work. It's about navigating total uncertainty. And isn't that a pretty perfect blueprint for how to get through life?
And if you need an example of just how far a human being can push this mental endurance, get this. The rapper Supernatural holds the world record for the longest continuous freestyle. The man rapped for nearly 10 straight hours. It's just an absolutely stunning feat of human improvisation.
So that's really the ultimate takeaway here. The art of the freestyle isn't just about rap. It's a lesson in how to react, adapt, and create when you have no idea what's coming next. It's resilience in real time. Which leaves us with one final thought for you. If your life is a beat, how are you going to improvise your next line?